Hello, hello everyone. I do apologize for my absence, and I do have some quick things to get out of the way before I get right into this. Firstly, I will say that my schedule has changed, and it does make it very difficult for me to get out videos as early as I could beforehand when the kit reveals would happen. Going forward, I'm going to do my best to get them out the same day. I'll do my best, but like I said, with the schedule change, it does make things difficult, but I promise I'll get to them when I get to them. But besides that, do have some kit reveals to go over today. Two that are older now, but one that is newer, and I'm just going to do them all in one go. Though, I can't exactly have the most fresh reaction to the first two because I've already seen them, of course, and I've already seen the discussions and everything about them. Deviat Association North Section 3 Rodian, as some have dubbed her the new potential man, where she is able to do stuff, but is kind of lacking in some other areas. Sadly, it just seems like she's not as strong as other IDs, especially Rodians, so yeah, it's one of those. I certainly think as we get more Rupture support, and if like more Deviats or other things become prominent, I'm sure she will get better. But as of right now, she stands as kind of a, one of those off IDs that's just kind of there, that isn't really being used for anything, but is cool and has cool stuff that you can do, but just isn't as meta, in quotations. But going through them real quick, we have 3 slash skills: a Lust Wrath and Gluttony. We have Courier Trunk Decay Knife, which is gaining coin power for every X Courier Trunk on self, or for every Y Rupture on target. And on use, the target has X plus Rupture and Y plus Rupture count. This skill does not consume target's Rupture count on hit, but does not inflict Rupture with the skill's on hit effects. So, kind of a give and take. You can apply a lot of Rupture, you scale on Rupture, but if you're scaling on the Rupture super hard, you're not able to benefit from it at the same time. And on the first hit, you gain Counter Trunk, or they gain Courier Trunk, I mean, and on the second hit, you inflict Rupture. Yep, nope, I just screwed up. Excellent start. No. You inflict Rupture, and you gain Courier Trunk. I was actually right the first time. You gain it. And if you're at a certain value, you get more of it. So, something you're stacking up on yourself. When we get to the skill 2, that is the Gadget Revealed. Same as before, dealing more damage for every Courier Trunk on self, and for Rupture on target. Or not and. It'd be way better if it was and, but it's or. On use, if the target has X plus Rupture and Y plus Rupture count, the skill does not consume Rupture count on hit. On the first hit, we're gaining more Courier Trunk. On the second hit, if we hit heads, we get haste. And at a certain Courier Trunk, we get more haste. And then on that third hit, we inflict defense down, which is pretty good. So defense level down is valuable. Is notable to have on there, and haste is always welcome, especially for clashing. And then skill 3, I trust you, Polu. Not sure who Polu is or what that's referring to, but it sounds great. Of course, we're dealing more damage and coin power for every Courier Trunk and Rupture, and we're also not going to be inflicting Rupture count if it's high enough. However, this one instead reuses its last coin, so hey, that's pretty great. Reusing coins is really strong, and depending on how consistently you can get it, it does add up to a lot of damage over time. Nothing on the first hit, but on that second hit, we're inflicting a Rupture count and additional Rupture for the Courier Trunk. And on that third hit, we're dealing more damage with Courier Trunk. And then if the unit is staggered or defeated, we're gaining haste. So she wants to go fast, she wants to apply a lot of Rupture, and she's going to be debuffing with defense down and then adding more Rupture on there. So yeah, pretty good. Then we have our defense skills here. Actually have 2 of them. First is the Courier Support and Control Sequence, which is add X plus Courier Trunk, activate just a strategic time off instead. And if the skill is to be activated, gain Courier Trunk % of max health as shield, and then gain more Courier Trunk. And then just a strategic time off, combat start, if it's activated, gain the unit's max HP as shield based on Courier Trunk, and then activate strategic R&R mode, which you may have seen because it's been getting memed a little bit. But before we go on, for chain battles, when after retreating with strategic R&R mode, if this unit rejoins the battle, have the Courier Trunk value. Let me go, and I swear I'll make it in time. I love the name of these. And also we have Speedy Delivery. Turn start at X plus speed. If this unit has haste, gain Courier Trunk % of max HP as shield. The stacking shield and max HP is pretty good. And then, of course, upon retreat, we're applying Clash Power up to 2 allies next turn. Prioritizing substituted units first in the deployment order. Lasts for additional turns equal to X Courier Trunk on self. And then her passive, Outstanding Courier, to one ally with the fastest speed, gain Clash Power to skill that inflicts Rupture, Potency, or Count. And then we have Strategic R&R mode. Turn end, recover from stagger, and retreat from the encounter. Unless it is forced stagger, does not count as death. In chain battles, gain this unit's slots to a substitute unit and move them to the rearmost place in the backup unit's deployment order. Escape from the encounter entirely if there are no other backup units remaining to swap places with. When returning to battle, return the order they retreated in. When returning to battle, return with the same amount of HP and SP when the unit retreated and eliminate all effects on self, except for a select few. If this unit had less than 0 SP when retreating, reset SP to 0 instead. And then Courier Trunk that you're stacking up on yourself starts at 0. You gain stacks. Stacks don't expire upon retreat. It's stored instead. And then at X plus stacks, we get min and max speed values increased. At more, we get Clash Power up and slash damage up. And then at more stacks, on skill use, take stack over Y% HP damage and stack over Y SP damage. On turn end, take that same thing, stack over Y % HP, and then stack over Y SP damage. Applies before retreat. Now, the way she is supposed to play is she's going to go in, she's going to add all of her debuffs, she's going to get the defense down, she's going to stack up a bunch of Rupture, and then she wants to leave. As soon as something dangerous happens, she is out of there, she's leaving, and then you tag someone else in that's going to be getting not only their own skills in the chain, but also hers. So it's a way to kind of like have a what do you call it? Undermanned, I guess? Undermanned squad sort of thing with the battles. So, I mean, there is a niche use for it, but right now, you kind of just want things that can stay on the field and be strong. You don't really want to swap in a totally new character. That's usually not the best thing right now. Kind of in a win more style of meta, even though we do have things that support, you know, losing a little bit or losing characters. So right now, Rodian is just a little out of place. I'm not saying she's bad, I'm just saying that she's really not, like, supremely powerful. You don't, like, have to have her, she's not mandatory for anything. But I do think as time goes on, as we interact with more chain battles, I think she'll find a nice spot on some team comps where you can get a powerful unit tagged in and give them, you know, extra skill slots pretty much. So, time will tell. But let's go ahead and move on. Ishmael also got an ego, a Teth one, for Bygone Days. It is a single coin, and before attack, at X plus highest resonance, gain attack weight. If said resonance was Gloom resonance, gain attack weight. After attack, heal 2 allies with the lowest HP percentage by X plus sum of Seeking Potency and count on the main target over Y% HP. The highest resonance was an X plus Gloom resonance. Heal X% more of the max HP. So, it is a Healy one that wants Gloom, and it wants Sinking. Of course, the idea is that you run this with the other Wuthering Heights and, you know, Earl King Heathcliff, or Wildhound Heathcliff, I mean. However, I will say I do think that Ishmael is the weakest of all the IDs on that team, so I'm not actually running her right now. I'm actually running Yi Sang instead. Solemn Lament Yi Sang. However, if you are in that team and you can make it work, then by all means, Bygone Days will be good for you. It also inflicts Sinking Count, inflicts Curse, and in addition to that, if you have the Gloom Resonance, it does Gloom Fragility, and also the Uninvited, which is a new debuff. So, it is a debuffing, healing, singular one, which is very useful. Not going to say it's not. And I don't think it's going to be any problem at all to splash this into existing teams, though you're not going to make much use out of the Sinking Count and Gloom Resonance if you don't have that going on. Now, of course, for our Corrosion, it prioritizes targets with the most sinking, which is interesting. You lose HP by X% of max HP. Then you heal 3 other allies with the lowest HP percentages by a sum of sinking potency and count on the main target over Y% HP. Add X plus highest resonance, heal an additional ally. If said resonance was gloom, heal X% more of the max HP. And of course, you inflict sinking count, curse, gloom fragility, the uninvited, and then echoes of the manor on top of it all. And then finally, we have the passive interloper reception. If the target has the uninvited or any of the panic type changing effects, gain clash power on hit against the said target. Heal SP for one ally with the least SP. So, it is a very useful ego. I think it does have a really good spot on that team. You could also run it in a charge comp as well. I don't see there being any issues there, though you will be getting a lack of the Gloom Resonance. I think it is nice. I do not think it is by any means mandatory. It is quite good, and with the Corrosion, if you can make it work, you can get that kind of team heal going on, but of course there are more efficient and better options for healing and SP healing. So this is more so it's just a nice thing to have. Don't need it. It's nice though, and if you need a little bit of healing specifically for Ishmael, then there you go. Besides that, the Uninvited, what it does is upon the unit's death, the last attacker heals SP, then a random ally without this gains X stacks of this effect. Take more damage for every sinking on self. For focused encounters, count sinking on each part separately, and then reduced at turn end. It is a way to amplify damage on sinking targets, which is good. However, Sinking Deluge is easy enough to pull off, and you're already kind of doing that if you're running the Wuthering Heights and Wild Hunt team. So, like I said, it's just a luxury, but not bad by any means, and it's Teth, so it's very cheap. So can't exactly be mad at that. Now, the actual new ID that I think a lot of people, including myself, are very excited for, we have Zwei West, Section 3 Ishmael. She looks so good. She's got the Cloud Sword, Buster Sword. She's freaking got a big shield, like, ability, it looks like. You know, she just looks great. So, without further ado, let's get in there. So, we have a triple blunt. I was actually not expecting that. I was expecting at least one slash, but we have a triple blunt on the skills. We have Pride, Envy, and we have Gluttony. Interesting layout. So, 2 skills on that skill 1. On use, gain aggro to the skill slot next turn, and then on use, gain X defense level up for every Y tremor count on self, so it is a tremor ID. Always weird. I don't know why, but for some reason a lot of these weird IDs just get tremor. And then gain base power for every X defense level up on self. That will be very good with the other Y members that can, like, spread defense up like crazy and make you super tanky. On that first turn, you're inflicting tremor count. On that second hit, you're also inflicting tremor count, and you're also getting defense level up with each of those hits as well. Very simple, easy, breezy, but it is indicative of what the rest of the kit is going to hold. Depending on her values, I mean, hey, you might actually be able to get a lot of use out of the other Zwei IDs. I know Zwei, Gregor, and Faust have kind of been, I don't want to say useless, but they've been kind of obsolete. They don't really have a place anywhere right now because, of course, this is a game very much where clashing and winning clashes is what you want to go for. You want damage. You don't need survivability. You need damage. If you can kill something before it kills you, you don't need to be able to take a couple hits. The best CC is always death, as they say, and that's kind of the case here. So the problem with this Y team is that, yes, they could survive a bunch, but they were also not doing a lot either, and they were just kind of in a stalemate or war of attrition until, of course, the enemy died, but other teams can just do that while winning clashes and just winning more, you know. But hopefully with some Zwei West IDs, maybe that'll shift. Maybe we'll see a spot in the future for Zwei characters, but who knows. We're going to right to that skill 2. That is the Can't Let You Through. On use, gain aggro. On use, gain X defense level for every Y tremor count on self. On use at X plus defense level, gain coin power, and then clash win, gain tremor count. On hit, you're inflicting that tremor on the first hit. On the second hit, we're getting defense level up. And on that third hit, we're inflicting tremor equal to tremor count on self over X. And also, we're going to be inflicting attack power down with X plus defense level up. Attack power down is very good. That is nice to have, especially on a team that can't clash very well. You kind of need it, so I'm sure the other YIDs will really appreciate that, and any team you throw her in. Because, of course, you do not need to run her with Y. I'm sure she'll be able to manage on her own. Maybe not the best up type 3, but hopefully up type 4 should be able to self-sustain. But we'll see. On that skill 3, we have 3 coins, and it's Ward. This is the big shield skill, I'm betting. On use, gain that defense level for every tremor. On use, we're getting defensive stance. Or, if this unit is in defensive stance, deal more damage. On use, gain coin power for every X defense level up on self. That's quite good. And then on use, gain aggro. Again, this is a very aggro ID. Everything gets aggro. Ishmael will be tanking for the team. She will be. And on that clash win, she's also getting tremor count. On that first hit, we're inflicting tremor. On that second hit, we're inflicting tremor. And on that third hit, consuming all tremor on self and inflicting the value of count consumed as tremor on the target. And deal plus excess tremor times X% more damage. So you stack up all your tremor and then you nuke. And then, of course, as every tremor ID should have somewhere, trigger tremor burst and then reduce the target's tremor count. And then also, on that third hit, if the unit is in defensive stance, trigger tremor burst again, and then reduce the target's tremor count. So, it looks like you are going to want to stack up your tremor on yourself. You're going to want to go into defensive stance, and then you're going to want to pop that skill 3 with the ward, and then cash it all in. You know it, you love it, I love it, it's great. And if I'm guessing, and it looks like I am correct, yes, the counter skill is going to be how you're entering that defensive stance, very much like a lot of IDs that we have now that have a form shift on the defensive skill. This one, of course, as you may have seen in the trailer, or if not, this is a clashable guard. Thank God. Because guard definitely needed something. I still think guard is the weakest of the 3 defense skills. Clashable guard, actually, very good. And then on use, you're getting tremor count, and if you're winning the clash, you trigger tremor burst, and it is an unbreakable coin. That is lovely. Wow. Man, we definitely needed more defense skills like this earlier in the game's history, let me tell you. Because that's really good. Having consistent ways to apply tremor burst, having 3 tremor bursts in your kit, pretty good. I don't know what team she's going to slot into. I assume she's going to work with the SWI members and maybe throw in like Molar ID here and there. Maybe some Otis, maybe some Rodian with the Rose Spanner Rodian may also work as well. We'll have to see. But as for that passive, Shock Nullifying Greatsword. At combat start, gain defense level up equal to tremor count on self. If this unit is in defensive stance, double the amount of defense level up gained from the above effects. Okay, she better be tanky, man. For the amount of defense level up she's got in her kit, I want to see her just completely, bam, and then nothing. She gets hit by that, like, 20 roll on the boss's skill, she's taking 5. Or she's taking 2. Or taking nothing, who knows? Oh, she can't take nothing, but... you know what I mean? I want her to shrug off big hits. Like, that's the fantasy I want them to reach with this ID. and with Zwei going forward. That should be it. And then that support passive. At combat start, compare each identity's current HP to their HP at the start of the previous turn, then apply defense level up to the identity with the greatest disparity of HP value between turns. It's a nice little, like, it's a nice little cushion. You know, if someone gets hit really hard, you can get some defense level up on them. Maybe you can keep them from getting staggered for another turn or so. Could be pretty good. You know? Doesn't hurt. I could see myself putting that in as a support passive. And then, of course, we've got the actual keywords here. Defensive stance, max value of 2. This effect does not compound in potency. Stacking it only extends its duration, reduced at turn end. When a unit gains this effect, gain the following effects. Fix this unit's speed to its minimum value. Oh, make her super slow. She cannot clash. But hopefully with the aggro, she will be the one targeting, so she will be able to clash at the same time. Fix this unit speed to a minimum value. Gain defense level up, of course. Each of this unit's slots gain plus X over this unit's number of slots. Aggro, more aggro, more aggro. And then when chaining skills, this unit can draw enemies' attacks towards this unit regardless of speed. Ooh, okay. So like another layer of aggro. Upon Clash Win, trigger Tremor Burst. Amazing. Cannot be staggered by damage. Okay. Defense stance seems really good. Like, we haven't had like a dedicated tank ID of this level, I'd say. This is comparable probably to Dicey Rodian and maybe even Pequod Heathcliff. You know, those IDs that you can just, you know, plug and play, and they are going to be just solid on the defense, and they can just tank and tank and tank. Because admittedly, some teams are fairly fragile. Some teams are going to get hit a few times and they're going to be in a really bad spot, and they might start losing guys. So in cases like those where you're kind of having, like, say, you know, take Pequod Ishmael, for example, her team, it's only a trio. You can throw in that Sinclair or that W Corp Ryoshu, and then you can throw in that fifth slot to have it be Ishmael. She can be a duo tank, you know? Duo tank, main tank, I'm sure she can do it both. I mean, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how it works with, you know, damage calcs and Triart and Mirror Dungeon, see how much damage she can actually take, but I think she's going to be insanely solid, and she's going to be really solid as a tank ID. But before we end off here, of course, Unbreakable Coin. The coin does not break upon Clash and Lose. If an attack skill has this coin, attack with this coin after not getting hit. Upon Clash and Lose, fix the coin's power of the unbroken coin to 1. So if I'm reading this correctly, if I'm understanding this correctly, basically you can lose a clash, but you're still going to hit them back, almost like a counter. So, like, even if you lose the clash, you're not losing the clash, per se. I could still be a little bit iffy on that. I could be reading that wrong, because I don't think it would just be like, you know, just if this is a coin that is on or paired on anything or clashing anything, it wins. I don't think that's what that means. I think it is just literally the coin does not go away when you lose the clash, and you're just going to hit him back as if it were a counter skill when the, you know, the attacks resolve. And then, of course, we have Clashable Guard. On a Clash Win, raise the target's stagger threshold by this unit's final Clash power, and on a Clash Lose, when hit, reduce the attacker's skill equal to this unit's final power. Very nice. So either you're raising their target's threshold, which is funny, that calls back to Ruina, because that's how it worked in Ruina, is you would deal stagger damage if you won the Clash with a defense skill. And then, if you lose the clash, you're still gonna take the hit, but you're gonna reduce that attack by skill power equal to final power, which can be substantial, especially when you're tacking on the rest of the defense level up and reducing damage. Like I said, she's built a tank. I want to see her tank. I want to see her big knight sword frickin' slamming into boys and, you know, batters up, hitting that home run right into next week. Launching that Pekatula. I want to see it. But if nothing else, I want to see some comps or some little clips of Ishmael taking big hits and just shrugging it off. That would make me happy. But that brings us to the end today for these kit reveals. Thank you all so much for bearing with me, and thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And I don't know about you, but I am so excited for the next season. I cannot wait till it arrives, and I'm going to jam out like crazy when it does, no matter what. And I hope you're here for it. So, without further ado, thank you all again. Appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!